Hey Sagittarius, I need you to sit down for this one because what I'm about to share with you is something that's been building up in the energy around you. And honestly, the cards are showing me that you're standing right at the edge of something massive. Like, you know that feeling when you can sense that everything is about to shift, but you can't quite put your finger on what it is? That's exactly where you are right now. And the universe has been preparing you for this moment, even if you didn't realize it. So I shuffled the deck with your energy in mind. And I have to tell you, the cards that came through are not playing around. They're showing me a very specific timeline. And what's fascinating is how they're all pointing to this convergence point that's happening really soon. Like, we're talking about a shift that's been in the works for a while now, and you're finally going to see the pieces fall into place. Before we dive into the cards, I just want you to know that whatever you've been worried about, or whatever has been keeping you up at night, the energy is shifting in your favor. And I know that might sound like something people say all the time, but when you see what these cards are revealing, you'll understand why I'm saying this with so much certainty. All right, let me pull the first card for you. The first card that came through is the Seven of Wands and Sagittarius. This is telling me so much about where you've been and why you're seeing this reading right now. The Seven of Wands is all about standing your ground, about fighting for your position, and about defending what you've built. And here's what's interesting. You've been in this defensive mode for longer than you probably realize. There's been this constant feeling of having to prove yourself, having to justify your choices, having to stand up against opposition that seems to come from every direction. What I'm seeing with this card is that you've been holding a position that not everyone agreed with. Maybe you made a decision that other people questioned, or maybe you chose a path that seemed risky to the people around you. And ever since then, you've been in this constant state of having to defend that choice. It's exhausting, right? Because every time you think you can finally relax, something else comes up that challenges you again. But here's what the Seven of Wands is really showing me, and this is important. You're not in this defensive position because you're wrong. You're in this position because you're actually onto something real, something valuable, something that's worth protecting. The universe doesn't test us on things that don't matter. The resistance you've been facing, all those challenges and obstacles, they've actually been strengthening you and preparing you for what's coming next. I'm seeing that you've developed this incredible resilience that you didn't have before. Every time someone doubted you, every time you had to stand up for yourself, you were actually building the exact skills and confidence you're going to need very soon. And the timing of this card appearing now is telling me that this defensive phase is coming to an end. You're about to transition from having to constantly prove yourself to actually being recognized for what you've built. What's really powerful about the Seven of Wands in your reading is that it's showing me you haven't given up. Despite everything, despite all the times it would have been easier to just back down and do what everyone else wanted you to do, you held your ground. And that matters more than you know because the strength you've developed during this time is going to be the foundation for everything that's about to unfold. There's also something here about competition and comparison. The Seven of Wands often shows up when we're dealing with people who want what we have or who are trying to take our spot. And I'm seeing that you've been dealing with this energy too. Maybe there are people in your life who have been undermining you or trying to make you second-guess yourself. Maybe you've been in situations where you felt like you had to constantly watch your back. But here's the shift that's happening. You're moving out of that energy entirely. The cards are showing me that the people who've been challenging you are about to fall away. And you're going to find yourself in a space where your value is simply understood and appreciated without you having to fight for it. The second card is the Page of Pentacles. And oh my goodness, Sagittarius, this is where things start to get really interesting. After all that defending and standing your ground with the Seven of Wands, the Page of Pentacles is showing me a completely fresh start in the material realm. This is about new opportunities, new learning, new beginnings in your physical reality, whether that's career, money, education, or even a new skill you're developing. What I love about the Page of Pentacles appearing after the Seven of Wands is that it's showing me you're not just surviving anymore. You're actually stepping into a growth phase. The Page energy is young and eager and ready to learn. And this tells me you're about to enter a period where you're absorbing new, information and exploring new possibilities in a way that feels genuinely exciting. Here's what's coming through really strongly with this card. There's an opportunity that's either just appeared or is about to appear, and it might seem small at first. The Page of Pentacles doesn't usually show up as this massive, obvious thing. It's more subtle than that. It might be a conversation that leads somewhere unexpected, or a chance to learn something new that opens doors you didn't even know existed, or an offer that seems modest but actually has incredible potential. What I'm seeing is that you need to pay attention to the details right now. The Page of Pentacles is very much about being present and noticing what's right in front of you. There might be signs or signals or little synchronicities happening around you that are trying to get your attention, and they're pointing you toward this new beginning. Don't dismiss things because they seem too small or too simple. Sometimes the biggest transformations start with the tiniest seeds. The Page of Pentacles is also telling me about your mindset shifting. After being in that defensive Seven of Wands energy, you might have gotten into a habit of being cautious or skeptical about new opportunities. But this card is asking you to open yourself up to possibility again. Be willing to be a beginner at something. Be willing to not have all the answers. Be willing to explore and experiment and see where things lead. I'm also seeing something really specific about finances or career with this card. There's a new stream of income or a new professional direction that's emerging, and it's different from what you've been doing. It might require you to learn new skills or to approach things in a way you haven't before. But the energy here is so positive because the Page of Pentacles tells me that you have the capacity to master whatever this is. You just need to give yourself permission to start. What's beautiful about this card in your reading is that it's showing me you're ready for this. All that time you spent standing your ground with the Seven of Wands, you were actually preparing yourself to receive this new opportunity. You've proven to yourself and to the universe that you're committed and resilient and willing to work for what you want. And now the Page of Pentacles is showing up to say, okay, here's your reward. Here's your chance to build something new. There's also an element of manifestation here. The Page of Pentacles is very much about taking dreams and ideas and starting to make them real in the physical world. So if you've been thinking about something or planning something or dreaming about a different kind of life, this card is telling me that now is the time to take the first concrete step. It doesn't have to be a huge step. The Page energy is about beginning, about planting seeds, about taking that initial action that sets everything else in motion. Now the third card is the Nine of Wands. And I have to tell you, when this came out right after the Page of Pentacles, it gave me pause because there's something really important the universe wants you to understand. The Nine of Wands is often called the Wounded Warrior card. It shows someone who's been through battles, who's tired, who's maybe a little scarred, but who's still standing. And the message here is so clear, Sagittarius. You're almost there. I know you're tired. I know you've been pushing and fighting and working so hard for so long. The Nine of Wands is acknowledging all of that. It's saying, I see you, I see how much you've been through, I see how much energy you've expended. But here's the crucial part. You cannot give up now. You're literally right before the finish line. And the Nine of Wands shows up specifically when we're at that point where we're tempted to quit just before the breakthrough happens. What I'm picking up with this card is that there might be one more challenge coming. Or maybe you're in the middle of it right now. It's that last test, that final obstacle before everything opens up. And the Nine of Wands is here to tell you that you have what it takes to get through this. You've already survived everything else that's been thrown at you. This last bit, as hard as it might feel, is not going to break you. There's something about protection and boundaries with this card too. The Nine of Wands is showing me that you've learned to be more guarded, more careful about who you trust and where you put your energy. And that's actually a good thing. You've developed better discernment. You're not as naive as you might have been before. You understand now that not everyone has your best interests at heart, and you've learned to protect your energy and your resources. But here's what's interesting. While that protection has been necessary, the Nine of Wands is also asking you to make sure you're not becoming so defensive that you close yourself off to the good things trying to reach you. There's a balance here. You need to maintain your boundaries and your wisdom about who and what to let in, but you also need to stay open enough to receive the blessings that are coming. I'm seeing that you might be feeling a bit cynical or skeptical right now. Like maybe you've been disappointed so many times that part of you doesn't want to get your hopes up about anything. And I get that, I really do. But the Nine of Wands paired with that Page of Pentacles is telling me that something genuinely good is coming, and you need to let yourself believe in it even while maintaining your wisdom and boundaries. The Nine of Wands is also about stamina and persistence. It's showing me that you have more strength left than you think you do. Even when you feel like you're running on empty, there's still something in you that keeps going. And that quality, that refusal to quit, is exactly what's going to carry you through to the other side of this transition. What's powerful about having the Nine of Wands appear in this position is that it's telling me the hardest part is almost over. You're in the 9th stage of a 10-stage journey. Yes, you're tired. Yes, you're worn out. But you're also right at the edge of completion, right at the point where everything you've been working toward finally manifests. The 4th card that came through is the Queen of Wands. And Sagittarius, this is where your energy completely transforms. After the Nine of Wands showing you tired and worn down, the Queen of Wands is showing me who you're becoming on the other side of all this struggle. And let me tell you, this version of you is absolutely incredible. The Queen of Wands is confident, magnetic, creative, and powerful. She knows who she is and she's not apologizing for it. She's got this natural charisma that draws people and opportunities to her. And what's amazing is that this isn't some fake confidence or forced persona. The Queen of Wands is authentically herself, and that authenticity is what makes her so magnetic. What I'm seeing with this card is that you're stepping into your full power. All those challenges you faced with the 7 of Wands, all that weariness from the 9 of Wands, it was all preparing you to become this version of yourself. The Queen of Wands doesn't just happen overnight. She's forged through experience, through learning to stand in her truth, through refusing to dim her light no matter what anyone else thinks. There's something really specific coming through about your creative energy and your passion. The Queen of Wands is telling me that you're about to enter a phase where you feel more alive and more inspired than you have in a long time. That heaviness you've been carrying, it's going to lift. And when it does, you're going to reconnect with parts of yourself that maybe got buried under all the stress and struggle. I'm also seeing that people are going to start responding to you differently. The Queen of Wands has this natural leadership quality, and I'm picking up that you're going to find yourself in positions where people are looking to you for guidance or inspiration. This might feel surprising at first, especially if you've been feeling depleted. But as you step into this Queen of Wands energy, you'll realize that you actually have so much wisdom to share, so much value to offer. What's beautiful about the Queen of Wands in your reading is that she represents you being fully aligned with who you truly are. Sagittarius energy is naturally adventurous, optimistic, and free-spirited, and the Queen of Wands embodies all of that, but in a mature, grounded way. You're not just dreaming about freedom and adventure anymore. You're actually living it. You're creating it. You're embodying it. There's also something about your social life and connections with this card. The Queen of Wands is very social, and she attracts a court of people who appreciate and support her. I'm seeing that you're going to naturally draw in a new circle of people who get you, who celebrate you, who match your energy. These aren't going to be people you have to prove yourself to or defend yourself against. They're going to be genuine connections that feel easy and natural and supportive. The Queen of Wands is also showing me something about a project or creative endeavor that you're going to pour your heart into. This is something that genuinely excites you, something that feels aligned with who you are at your core. And the energy around this is so positive because I can see it succeeding. I can see you bringing this vision to life in a way that not only fulfills you but also impacts others positively. The 5th card is the Tower. And okay, I know this might seem scary at first, but stay with me because the Tower appearing here is actually exactly what needs to happen for you to fully step into that Queen of Wands energy. The Tower is about sudden change, about structures crumbling, about things falling apart so that something new and better can be built. And in your reading, this is showing me that there's something in your life that needs to come down. Here's what's important to understand about the Tower. It doesn't destroy things that are solid and true and good for you. The Tower only takes down what was built on shaky foundations, what was never meant to last, what was actually holding you back even if you didn't realize it. So while the change might feel sudden or shocking, it's ultimately clearing the way for something much better. What I'm seeing with the Tower in your reading is that there's a belief system or a situation, or maybe even a relationship that's about to dramatically shift or end. And this is connected to everything we've talked about. You've been defending your position with the Seven of Wands. You've been exhausted with the Nine of Wands. And now the Tower is coming in to say, okay, enough. We're tearing down what's not working so you can build something new. The Tower often shows up right before major breakthroughs because sometimes we need everything to fall apart before we can see clearly. We get so attached to how things are, even when how things are is making us miserable, that we need the universe to just shake everything up and force us to start fresh. I'm picking up that this Tower moment might involve you suddenly seeing a truth that's been hidden or realizing something about your situation that you've been avoiding. It's like when you're looking at one of those optical illusion pictures and suddenly your perspective shifts and you see it completely differently. That's the kind of revelation the Tower brings. Now, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Tower moments can feel chaotic and unsettling while they're happening. But here's what you need to remember. This is happening for you, not to you. The universe is literally removing obstacles from your path, even if those obstacles looked like things you thought you wanted or needed. What's really significant about the Tower, appearing between the Queen of Wands and your final card, is that it's showing me this breakdown is what allows you to fully step into your power. There's something you're holding on to right now, some way of being or thinking or living that's keeping you smaller than you actually are, and the Tower is coming in to demolish that limitation. I'm also seeing that this Tower moment might involve other people's reactions to your growth. As you start stepping into that Queen of Wands energy, as you start being more authentically yourself, some people in your life might not like it. They might have been comfortable with the old version of you, the version that was more accommodating or less powerful or easier to control. And the Tower shows me that these dynamics are going to fall apart. People might leave your life, or relationships might change dramatically. And while that might be painful in the moment, it's necessary for you to fully become who you're meant to be. The sixth and final card is the Ten of Swords. And Sagittarius, I know this looks intense, but please hear me out because this card is actually bringing you the most liberating message of this entire reading. The Ten of Swords represents an ending. A complete, total, absolute ending. It's the darkest before dawn card. It's rock bottom. It's the moment when you finally let go of something you've been holding on to way past its expiration date. What's powerful about the Ten of Swords appearing as your final card is that it's showing me a cycle is completely finishing. That struggle you've been in, that battle you've been fighting, it's over. And I don't mean it's over because you gave up or because you failed. It's over because you're finally releasing it. You're finally letting it die so something new can be born. The Ten of Swords often appears when we've been in denial about something ending. We've been trying to revive something that's already dead, trying to fix something that's beyond repair, trying to make something work that was never going to work. And the Ten of Swords comes in to give us permission to stop trying, to finally accept that it's over, and to let ourselves grieve and then move forward. Here's what I'm seeing specifically for you. There's something you've been pouring energy into, something you've been fighting for or holding on to, and deep down you probably already know it's done. The Ten of Swords is confirming what part of you already knows and giving you permission to walk away. And yes, endings are painful. The Ten of Swords acknowledges that. But what comes after the Ten of Swords is the beginning of a whole new cycle. It's the Ace energy, the fresh start, the new beginning. What's fascinating about having the Ten of Swords follow the Tower is that it's showing me a two-stage process. The Tower dismantles the external structures and situations that aren't working, and then the Ten of Swords represents you internally releasing and letting go. It's the emotional and mental completion that needs to happen after the external changes. I'm picking up that you might need to grieve something. Maybe it's a dream you had that's not going to manifest in the way you thought. Maybe it's a version of yourself you thought you'd become, but now you're becoming something different. Maybe it's a relationship or situation that you really wanted to work out, but it just didn't. The Ten of Swords gives you space to feel that loss, to acknowledge the pain, to let yourself be sad or angry or disappointed. But here's the gift of the Ten of Swords. Once you fully release, once you truly let go, there's this incredible sense of freedom. It's like you've been carrying this heavy weight and you finally set it down. The relief is immense. And from that place of release, from that place of having nothing left to lose, you can rebuild your life in a way that actually aligns with who you truly are. The Ten of Swords appearing as your final card is telling me that you're about to experience a profound liberation. Everything we've talked about in this reading, the defending yourself, the new opportunities, the exhaustion, the stepping into your power, the sudden changes, it all culminates in this moment of complete release. And on the other side of that release is a version of your life that you probably can't even imagine right now because you're still holding on to the old one. So Sagittarius, when I look at your reading as a whole, here's what I'm seeing. You've been in a period of intense challenge and growth. You've been standing your ground and fighting for your position and dealing with opposition and exhaustion. But everything is about to shift dramatically. There's a new opportunity coming through that's going to open up a completely different path for you. You're stepping into a much more powerful version of yourself. And to fully do that, some things in your life need to fall apart and end completely. The reason you're seeing this reading today is because you're standing right at that threshold. Everything is about to change, not in some distant future, but soon. Very soon. And the universe wanted you to know what's coming, so you can prepare yourself mentally and emotionally for the transformation that's about to happen. If you're feeling the truth of this reading, if something I said resonated with you, let me know in the comments. I always love hearing how the cards showed up for you. And remember, Sagittarius, you're so much stronger than you think you are. Everything you've been through has been preparing you for what comes next. Trust the process. Trust yourself. The breakthrough is coming.